Hello, this is Sudhir Kumar Trivedi, Assistant Professor of Law, Gemtech School of Law, Greater Noida. The topic for today's lecture is Notice and Reply to Notice under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. As we have already discussed regarding the requirement of Section 138, while we were dealing the complaint under Section 138 in the matter of check bouncing. Here in short, we can discuss that when a check has been issued by a party and that has been dishonored, or in general language it is said it has bounced, in that case it is a legal requirement of the Section 138 that the person in whose favor the check has been issued must send a notice of demand of the payment of the amount of the said check within 30 days from the date of the written memo or from the date of the return of the check. It may be on any ground, may be of insufficient amount, may be that the direction from the person who has issued the check. If it has been bounced on any ground, then within 30 days from the date of the return memo from the bank, it must be sent. It is must be, or you can say it is a requirement of the law that the person must issue a notice to the person who has issued the check regarding the demand of the money. And the notice, here our focus will be on the structure of the notice, and it will start like this. Notice under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. Registered AD, on right corner there will be date, and left corner it will start like to the name of the person, address of the person. Again I am making it clear that whenever you you issue a notice, you must mention the name and after that son of, then the residence of. Must be very strictly mentioned. Like here I have mentioned to Sri and so, son of so and so, residence of Knot Place, New Delhi, with pin code, and also at, if he is having some official address, and if you want to send a notice at both address, then you must mention in notice that the official address, or if he is having address, two home, then when you are knowing both, then you must mention and notice for being a safe side, because they can take plea that it was that I was residing on so and so place and I never received the notice. Then it will start. Then there will be a column of subject matter. Subject will be legal notice under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881. Then, dear sir, under the instruction from and on behalf of my client, name, residence of so and so place, New Delhi, so and so pin code, hereinafter referred as my client, I serve you with the following notice. This language should be in the mind of the student under instruction, because whenever you write an notice, this language is generally used in every type of the notice, so it must always be in the mind of the student. Then the main para will start like that my client is engaged in the business of so and so. Here you will give the detail of your client, that how the person issued the check in favor of client. It must be what is the amount of the check, for what purpose the check has been issued. It should come in the paras. It will start like that my client is engaged in so and so business, and during the ordinary course of the business you addressee purchased. You addressee means the person who has issued the check. You addressee purchased from my client the said sewing machine for which you issued a check bearing number so and dated so and so of the United Bank of India. It is important to understand here that it should be very physically mentioned in the notice the check number, the date of the check, on which date it was issued, and the bank name must be very strictly mentioned, and the branch must be mentioned. Then after that it will be mentioned the amount of the check. Here I have taken example of 2,45,700 as part payment toward the discharge of your liability which you addressee had incurred by way of purchasing aforesaid sewing machine from my client. So here why the liability has been arose, it must be mentioned. Then it will be that the above mentioned check was deposited by my client with his banker HDFC Bank at Limited, pin code Punjabi Bagh, New Delhi, for the encashment on so and so date. So when the check was mentioned, in which when the check was presented in the bank, the detail of the bank and one on what date the check was presented must be mentioned. After that the said check was returned to my client with an endorsement dishonored for insufficiency of funds, that the dishonored check along with the check returning memo of the bank dated so and so was returned to my client. So the next para will be that why the check was returned, what was the reason given by the bank, with return memo and the date when it was written must be mentioned. After that for the first time my client came to know about the dishonoring of the check on this date. That on account of dishonoring of the check you addressee are guilty of committing an offence punishable under section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 as amended up to date. So if any amendment has taken place during that time, then it must be mentioned like that as up to date. So the liability of the you can say the person who has issued the check may be fixed. Now through this legal notice I hereby call upon you addressee to make the payment of 2,45,700, the amount of the said dishonored check, within the 15 days of the receipt of this notice, failing which my client shall be constrained to take legal action against you. So in this notice 15 days time is provided as per law. So it must be very strictly mentioned that within 15 days of the receipt of the notice, from the date of the receipt of the notice, 15 days will be counted, and failing of which my client, that the person who on whose behalf this notice has been issued, will take the legal action against you. Then way of civil as well as criminal proceeding at your risk as to cost and consequences resulting thereupon. So you can mention that the legal action may be criminal as well as civil, and it will be at your risk and cost if you don't pay the amount. Obviously there will be your sincerely advocate signed. It may be on behalf of the client, so it may be signed by the advocate, and the copy of kept in my office for further future reference and use. This will be the structure. Now what will be the reply from the person who has issued the check? Let's see what will be the structure. Name of the advocate, advocate detail, office detail, phone number, registered ID, and dated as it was in the notice from the side of the person in whose favor the check was issued. The same structure will be here. Again it will mention to Sri so and so advocate, because we discussed that the Earlier notice was issued from the advocate on behalf of the client, his client. So here the reply is from the advocate on behalf of the you can say the person who has issued the check. The address of the advocate, Delhi. Here the subject here will be the reply to your legal notice under section 138 Nego Civil Instrument Act dated so and so. Dated so and so here means the date of the notice which was issued from the side of the person in whose favor the check was issued. That date will be mentioned here. Dear sir, your legal notice dated so and so has been placed before me by my client, Sri, name of the person, at Connaught Place, New Delhi, and I, the undersigned, have been instructed to reply to you on your said notice by my client on his behalf as under. That at the outset you are being informed that the notice and the reply you have sent on behalf of your above said client contains false and frivolous facts provided by your said client against my client. Thereby your notice and the reply deserves to be withdrawn with unconditional apology by your client, because the claim made by you is without any basis and is based upon concocted facts as no claim is made out against my client and in favor of your client. Then the next para will be the detail how they are denying the things, that in fact my client did not place any order for supply of any machine whatsoever as alleged by you, but with view of to dispose of your old stock of outdated machine, you requested my client to place them at his shop for sale. Keeping in view old relation, my client agreed to your client's proposal, which was subject to the condition that payment would be made only after those machines were sold out. However, those machines were not only outdated but were also mechanically faulty, because of which till date they are lying with my client, which your client is at liberty to take back with 2 days prior notice. It is pertinent to mention here that the check in question was handed over by my client blank, and the same was to be used only upon instruction of my client after he could sold out your all those machines. So here how the party, the defendant, is taking the defense, how the liability is not against him. It must be very strictly mentioned in the reply to the notice. Then it will be like that however your client has cheated my client by misusing that check which is not in the handwriting of my client. As a matter of fact, your client has committed fraud in the matter and consequently is liable to be proceeded under the relevant provisions of law. Then that therefore it is denied that the check in question was issued by my client to your client in discharge of any liability. Rather, your client has misused the blank check with ulterior motives after forging the same. Now there will be a reply on merit that the contents of para 1 of your legal notice are wrong and denied, and whatsoever is stated above is reiterated. It is denied that my client purchased from you your client any machine whatsoever. Rather, my client helped your client to keep your machine in his go down shop for disposal. Therefore, it is denied that the check in question was issued in discharge of any liability towards my client as alleged in this para, and that the contents of para 2 are denied for want of knowledge. However, it is reiterated that my client ever issued any check in the manner as alleged by you. Then that in reply to para 3 of your legal notice, what is stated above is reiterated. It is submitted that your client was not entitled to use that check for encashment and deposit the same in his bank. Then that the contents of para 4 and 5 are denied for want of knowledge. However, it is reiterated that any check was issued in discharge of any liability towards my client to your client, that the contents of para 6 need no comments. However, it is denied that my client committed any offense whatsoever. So it is always to be kept in mind that the reply notice you must first explain the incident, how the check was issued, why there is no liability. Then there will be a reply of each para of the notice, and the para-wise reply is required in while you replying the notice. So if there were 6 para, then there will be reply of all 6 paras in the reply notice. After that, in view of aforesaid fact and circumstances, you are being advised to further advise your client to withdraw the said notice under reply, and further advise him not to drag my client in any frivolous litigation, failing which my client shall be constrained to contest the same, besides proceeding against your client under the legal provisions of law at the cost, risk, and consequences of your client only. After that, there will be sign of the advocate, and if the person is available, there may be sign of the person on whose behalf the notice has been issued, reply has been issued, and always there is a copy kept in my office for future reference and use. That's all about the notice under section 138 and how the reply to the notice is given, all about the format requirement of notice in matter of check bouncing. Thank you.